Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to jump straight into it. Today we're going to be doing a look with the Natasha Denona Lila Palette. So first of all I'm going to be using Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream just to moisturise. As you're about to see, I am going to blend this in with a brush. I mean, it's totally personal preference as to whether you use a brush or your hands. With clients I like to use a brush just so it's nice and hygienic. Next I'm going to be using the Collection Primed and Ready Mattifying Pore Minimiser Primer. So I'm just going to be putting this in the areas where I feel like I have the biggest pores. So this is around my nose, a little bit on my cheeks, forehead and chin. As this is a silicone based primer, I don't like to put this all over the face. Next I'm going in with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I'm just going to use this to prime my eyelids. So as you can see, I'm just using a beauty blender just to pat this over the eyelids. This is such a fantastic primer. It's really going to make your eyeshadow last all day, and it has got that coverage to cover up any sort of discoloration on your eyes. Then I'm just going to set that using my Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in Translucent. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona Lila Palette, and the first colour I'm going to be using is the Nude Mauve colour. This is a really nice transition colour, so I'm just using a MAC 224 there to blend it just above the crease and on the outer corner. I'm blending it above the crease because of my eye shape. I've got quite hooded eyes, so I just want to do this just to make my eyes look a little bit bigger. The next shadow I'm using is Nude Vino with a Morphe M433 brush. This is like a flat shader brush, except it's a little bit fluffier, so it's a really fantastic brush to pack the outer corner with, but then also blend it out as well. I'm then going in with the shade Helio using my Sephora 15 brush. Some people like to use some sort of fixing spray to make their shimmers pop a little bit more, but with the formula of these I really don't feel like you need it. It's just such a lovely, lovely creamy shimmer shade. I'm going to absolutely butcher this, but I think it's Juneau or Junior. Anyway, I'm just using the same brush just to pat this on the inner corner just to add a little bit of brightness. I'm then going back into Nude Vino with the Morphe M433 just to darken up that outer corner and blend the two shadows together. Lastly, I'm going to be using the colour Magentic on the Sephora 15 brush. I'm just going to be blending that really lightly between the matte and shimmer colours that we'd already placed down, just to add a splash more colour, and it's also going to make my green eyes pop. Next up, I'm taking my Kat Von D Tattoo Liner and Bdellium Tools 763 brush, just to very lightly line my lash line. Once we get mascara on, this is just going to make my lashes look a lot thicker. As I'm not blessed with luscious lashes, I'm just curling my lashes. This does look a little bit brutal, but honestly, it's absolutely fine. Next up, I'm just using my MAC Extended Play Mascara. For foundation, I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place makeup in the shade Porcelain. In hindsight, looking back, this foundation is a little bit too light for me. It does look a little bit lighter on camera than it does in real life. But as I've said previously, you know, if you do have a shade that doesn't match you exactly, make sure you get your ears and blend it a little bit down your neck just so you don't look a little bit crazy. So I'm just using my beauty blender to blend this into the skin. Now the next thing you're going to see me do is a trick that I learned off one of Wayne Goss's YouTube videos. To avoid having cakey foundation or anything like that, he uses whether it's toilet tissue or kitchen roll and wraps it around the beauty blender and just really lightly presses it into the skin just to remove any excess product. For concealer, I'm using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C3. I'm just drawing triangles underneath the eye just to bring some brightness to under there because I've got quite dark circles. I'm then just using a brush just to blend that in. Another trick that I learnt from Wayne Goss was just using a brush to help cover up those pores, just going in circular motions in different directions just over those pores, and that foundation is really just going to help cover those. Going back in with my Coty Airspun loose face powder, I'm just going to use my beauty blender just to set underneath my eyes, and then I'm going to be using a full powder brush just to set the rest of my face. Next, I'm going to be using my beloved Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow with my PS Pro blending brush, which is a brush I got from Primark for £3. This is such a good brush for bronzing because it's like a stippling brush. It just really lightly diffuses that product and just makes it look so natural. For blusher, I'm going to be using the Makeup Revolution Ultra Blush Palette in Hot Spice. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a shade name. I'm just using my Morphe E51 to blend that out. For highlight, I'm going to be using the BeccaxJaclyn Hill Champagne Pop Shimmering Skin Perfector with my Morphe M510 brush, and I'm just putting that on the top of my cheekbones. To finish the eyes, I'm just going back into Nude Vino and just placing that on the lower lash line. For my brows, I'm just going to be using the Burr Cosmetics Selfie Sculpt. I really like this product as I've got quite naturally full brows anyway, and I just like to use this just to add a little bit more of a shape to my brows and just fill in any sparse areas. For lipstick, I'm using the Jeffree Star Velour lipstick in the shade Gemini, and I'm using a Real Techniques accent brush just to help get that shape of my lips. So this is the finished look. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave all my links down below as to where you can contact me should you want your makeup done by me. And just thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.